romantic opera. I was involved in the short film that we did to try to get this film made, and then, of course, did the feature film as well. I worked with Darren on all the Saw movies, 2, 3, 4, I also did 5. And I've done a lot of things, to tell the truth. We just finished George A. Romero's latest untitled zombie film. Land of the Dead, Diary of the Dead, and Ginger Snap 2 and 3. So I'm no stranger to the horror genre, and this, for me, was one of the greatest shows I got ever to do, because, well, let's face it, there's a lot of costumes. I have a couple of people here with me today. Well, Elena, firstly, one of our cast members, you might recognize her from one of our friends creating Addict, as well as one of our genterns.
Hi. Glad you enjoyed the movie. This is my first film, but it was a really great experience, so still excited. Thanks for coming.
This is Adam Smith, who is my leather manager. Adam created a lot of the pieces in the film. He covered the leather skin over Repo Man's mask. He's not quite here today. We're talking about the Repo costume. Put all the leather pieces onto the costume, as well as a lot of the metal gear. And of course, we've got Jason Ehl here, who is our engineer, who engineered the mask for Repo, putting the light into it and actually doing the skeleton of the mask, as well as building, I believe, the zydrate gun, and all of the gear, like all the metal stuff. So we're going to be here to answer questions, and I'm going to hand it back to Jeff.
All right, so I'd just like to note now that after we do the Q&A, we're going to give away the free stuff that we have here, which I will reveal after the questions. So if anybody would like to win some stuff, come down to the balcony, because I'm going to ask a question, and you guys can jump up and yell, like, me, and I'm going to pick you out of the crowd. So if you're in the balcony, it's going to be really hard to spot you. So just let you know. And I will open up the floor. If anybody has any questions, raise your hand. And yes, you in the corner. Anyone? No. You like really bright. Does anybody have a question? You can just shout out if you do. Yes?
That's a good question. The question was there a specific direction given for the costume in the film? Darren gave me this direction. He said, I want it to look cool, and I want it to be kind of gothy. And then he let me do the rest. So it's not often that you get that kind of creative freedom, especially when you're working studio films and you have to get everything approved and camera tests and blah blah. This one was pretty much, well, we were actually making costumes as they were going out. So it was a lot of last minute, but for sure the look was decided between myself and our amazing production designer, David Hackle.
Does anybody else have a question? Yes, I see you right in the middle there.
How many costume designs did you go through for Repo Man? Was it initial?
That's another good question. How many designs did we go through for Repo Man? You would think, Repo Man being kind of such an important costume in the film, that there would have been a lot of time and effort put into it. Because this came from a stage play, and we had a lot of concept sketches from that done by Terrence, we were looking at a lot of that as reference, but the decision process, Darren was still in Los Angeles working on the music, and we were trying to prep. We didn't have the casting yet. I hadn't been able to talk to Anthony Stewart Head, and it was kind of coming down to the wire, so we basically just made a decision amongst ourselves. Jim Murray isn't here, he's our props master, but between myself and Jim and Adam and Jason, we just sort of tried to figure it out. When Anthony got to town, he had some specific ideas. It was his idea. He really wanted an apron, because he felt like his character was going to be pretty gory. So we went with the whole apron front, and I don't know if you can see, but on the original costume, The front panel is shinier than the matte of the rest of the costume, but it wasn't shiny enough. I was going to have this bead sort of a built-in apron. So what we did is we made this one to look like a rubber apron, and this is actually made from pool liner that we got at Home Depot. Very cheap. Because I couldn't afford real rubber. And so it basically, we took the idea of a surgeon, an old school surgeon, and how would we make that into sort of this gothy sort of villain, superhero type character. And that's kind of, the silhouette came from sort of an old style operating gown, and then adding sort of my original stuff, which was too soft, and Darren's like, well, it's not like sinister enough, and that's why I'm like, And exactly, so can you just talk about how you made this look so cool?